it's super exciting to see you, the kids. I couldn't call them kids because I'm a lot older now. Doing what you guys are doing. I mean, it's always encouraging. It's always unbelievably inspiring, exciting. It makes me feel really great about what you guys are doing. It makes me feel super confident in where we're heading as a country to see you guys out there doing what you're doing. So keep getting people signed up for your stuff, okay? You guys are doing great. I'm going to talk a little bit about Second and Seven, a foundation that I started to give back to the community. And I'm sure there's going to be some tie-ins with your high schools, so just pay attention. Well, 13 years ago, believe it or not, I had graduated from Ohio State. I had a brief cup of coffee with the New York Jets in the NFL. Came back to Columbus and started doing a radio show in the morning for sports radio, 1460 The Fan at the time. Now it's 97.1. You may listen to the guys on the radio. At that time, a couple of my former teammates, Mike Vrabel and Luke Fickle, who are now assistant coaches at Ohio State, we'd always, when we were in college, we had been involved in various service activities, but they were sporadic throughout the year. And one that really hit home was during Right to Read Week. It was always kind of exciting for me to go in and read to these children. And then I'd come back and go to school, go to practice. But it always stuck to me that, man, when we go to these inner city schools and I read to these kids, they are just pumped. And they're hugging on you and asking for autographs. And it's a really positive experience. And it was a really great perspective that you gain driving back to campus thinking, wow, I've got it pretty darn good relative to where I just was. So when we graduated, I thought to myself, well, it'd be nice to continue to do that. Even though I'm not playing at Ohio State anymore, I thought, let me get a couple of my buddies. And what we decided to do was have a little football camp. At the time, there was about 50 kids signed up that came out to football camp. We didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of, like you guys I'm sure have seen, you got to all rally together and try to put something on. Kids came out to our little football camp. We raised enough money that I just went over to a Borders bookstore and bought a bunch of books and started calling principals in the inner city and said, hey, would you mind if Mike Vrabel, Luke Fickle, and myself came out and read to your second graders? Well, some people thought it was nuts. They thought it was a prank call. It was hard to facilitate. Others were just busy. I don't have time for this. What are you talking about? Send me an email, or not an email at the time. Send me a letter. So after a couple of months of just constantly calling, it ended up taking about 7 schools, actually 7 exact schools, to take care of all the books that I had purchased for the second graders. And then we went and read to them. After that, we decided to start a foundation and call it the Second and Seven Foundation because we were football guys. They were second graders, 7 schools. So that's where we came up with the name. From that point, the next year, instead of 50 kids at camp, we had 150 kids at camp. And we figured out a little bit more how you can actually raise money by eliminating a lot of your expenses on event planning. And so we ended up raising a lot more money for books. We bought a lot more books. We ended up reading to a lot more schools to the point where I couldn't get to all these schools. I had so many books. So I went to the athletic director at Ohio State and I said, hey, we're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to raise money to buy books. But we need help reading to kids. And we would like for the student athletes at Ohio State to be involved because we were an athlete at Ohio State and we just felt like it was a good positive thing, not just for the kids, but also for us. And so they really were excited about it. They got on board. And I'm proud to say now that every single Thursday and Friday, so today, at 10 o'clock, student athletes from Ohio State are going into the inner city or southwestern city schools and reading to those children and actually giving them a book that we provided from Second and Seven. So it's grown that much in a matter of 13 years. Actually, it's really exciting because some of those coaches of different sports at Ohio State that would come with their student athletes, they have since left and got jobs at other universities and have since taken the Second and Seven program with them because it's such an easy and really a great thing to implement. Now that we're down in Florida, we're in North Carolina, out in California, we're crying out loud, New Mexico, one of the ADs there is a former Buckeye, and so we're doing stuff in Albuquerque. We've got satellite programs now with a lot of high school student athletes in areas that Columbus, Ohio State student athletes couldn't necessarily drive all the way to every place in the state of Ohio. So we've had places like New Philadelphia, some other places that are outside the general driving area that a student athlete would go, that they have their student athletes from their high school go and read to those second graders, and that really makes it a huge difference. I can remember when I was a little second grader If a high school kid came in and he had his baseball jersey on or his football warm-up on, I was just enamored. I was blown away. I really thought that was the coolest guy ever. So that's my challenge to the high schools here. There's this great service project there. You get the high school student athletes involved because the mission, as we've grown through the 13 years, the mission of the Second Seven Foundation was to provide positive role models to kids in need and encourage those student athletes to pay it forward. We feel like there's a real strong leadership component to what we're doing. The other thing that we did the last 6 years, because again we've always tried to continue to just focus on getting more books to the kids, is once I started M2 Marketing, I determined that it was a little bit less expensive for us to actually write, illustrate, and publish our own books, so we can actually print more and give more out. And so for the last 6 years, that's what we've done. We've actually written our own children's books. We came up with the characters in the books. They're called the Hog Mollies. When I was in school, our coach used to call the offensive linemen Big Hog Mollies. And so we came up with that name. We gave the names of each of the characters kind of clever names, like one's Hoppy for Hopalong Cassidy, who you may remember was a great Buckeye. Harley is one of the names of the Hog Mollies. Chick Harley was a great former Buckeye. Duke is one of the names because at the time we created it, my wife was doing her medical residency at Duke. and then Sprout is the other name that, again, we brainstormed all these names and we had these focus groups with these children, and Sprout stuck, but that was a name that Bobby Carpenter actually came up with, and he was one of the guys that was involved early on. So we've got a lot of neat stuff. Each year we try to write a book that's about a theme. The first year was about teamwork. The next year was about trying your best. It's fun now that I have children, and I read these books to them at night, and they have little phrases that are over and over again. The most recent one, Uncle Archie takes the Hog Mollies. Uncle Archie takes the Hog Mollies on a camping trip, and they use patience, practice, and persistence to light a campfire. And that's the moral of the story over and over again. And I had some family members in town last night, and they hadn't seen my little boy Nolan, and he was trying to hit a baseball. He wasn't getting. He's 3 years old. And I said, not hitting it. And I said, just don't worry, you just keep trying. Remember, it takes patience. And I paused, and he says, practice and persistence. He didn't say it, but he's getting it. So that's what we try to get these types of lessons into the children, give them a smile, give them a hug, and then the goal is for them to have that book they can take with them, and in the back of each book is a little area for them and their teacher, if their teacher would want to write something about when they used patience, practice, and persistence, or if it's the book about teamwork, when they used teamwork, or if it's a book about trying your best, or doing the right thing. So we've done a lot of neat things. I can show you real quick. I know we don't have a ton of time, but I can show you real quick a couple of the books, just to kind of give you an idea. So these are the Hog Mollies, and so each one of the books. So this is the pickle pie party here. And we have, like I was reading it here in this video to the children. Rocky Relay Race is our second book. Off the right, this is Luke reading to the children. The Zooming Zackozoid is a toy. We just came up with that name. We just kind of brainstormed it out. We came up with this crazy toy that the Hog Mollies wanted to buy. So they go back to their clubhouse and they divvy up their money, and they only have $4, but it costs $5. So they're thinking, what are we going to do? And they're walking to school the next day, and they see $1 on the ground and on the sidewalk in front of a house. And one of the Hog Mollies says, "No, we got $5." And the other Hog Molly says, "Yeah, but I think it might be his dollar. It's not really our dollar." And then they're in this situation. What do we do? And, let's go ask the guy. So they go up to the door, and it's Grumpy Gus that lives there. And he snatches the dollar, and he says, "What are you doing with my dollar? Give me that dollar." So now they're disappointed, and they can't have their Zooming Zackozoid. And the next morning, there's a knock at the clubhouse door. They open the door, and there's a box. They open it up, and it's the Zooming Zackozoid with a note from Grumpy Gus, who just so happens to be the owner of High Street Toys. And says, "Thanks for doing the right thing. Enjoy the toy." So anyway, we come up with these cool things. Amazing Aquatic Adventure is the one about diversity, power of diversity. Camp Carmen Campfire is, like I said before, patience, practice, and persistence. We literally just put the next one into the publisher, and actually for the Memorial Tournament, we'll be releasing it and doing some things with the kids' clinic, passing out some books. The next one is called The Great Golden Gizmo, the Hog Mollies and the Great Golden Gizmo. They get these cameras, and they try to capture acts of kindness. And throughout the story, they're taking pictures, and the act of kindness performed in that particular scene encourages that person who just had that act of kindness shown to them, pass it on to the next and kind of pay it forward to the next until the end of the story. And it's a really cool story. Again, encouraging kids to be kind, but just showing that kindness is contagious and pay it forward. So each one of the cool things is we've had some really great people involved in the program. On the back of each one, they're endorsed by like a celebrity coach or something. You know, the first one years ago was Coach Tressel, then it was Thad Matta, then it was Bill Belichick. This year, the Great Golden Gizmo, Coach Meyer, is going to be on the back. So they're really cool. Ohio State's done a great job. I would love to get more high schools involved because I think that that's where it's really at. If we can spread it to more satellite programs, get the high schools to really take ownership and buy in and facilitate readings, it just makes a lot of sense. And getting clubs like this to just be involved, it doesn't cost a ton for us to implement a program. Typically, it costs about $250 to implement the program in a district. So that's not that much. It's about 250 kids, so it's only $1 a book. And so that's it's a pretty easy way to, you guys have raised a crazy amount of money. I mean, you guys talking about this stuff over here. I'm thinking about recruiting you guys. But yeah, it's something that's very exciting for us. I'm passionate about it. I know that when we first started it, we had no idea that we would be writing children's books and getting student athletes from Ohio State to be reading and students from all over the country to be reading. But that's where we are now, and we're continuing to grow, and we'd love to have your support. We'd love to have you guys help out. We'd love to get your students at the high school level to really get engaged, because we really feel like it's something that is a win-win from so many different levels. But so that's what we've been doing, kind of in our after-hours free time. As you mentioned, I have a marketing company, so I actually do have a day job, but this has been a real passion of mine. My sister, my business partner, we all are involved in writing the books, and it's a lot of fun. We're just actually going to meet this weekend to talk about the next one, because you just got to kind of stay on top of it. But anyways, so that's what the Second Seven is all about. I did want to just share one real quick thing. I know when we first started here, you mentioned the folks in Boston. My sister-in-law ran the Boston Marathon this year, and my wife and I and our children, we went there. We watched her run. So we were at the gathering place after the finish line, moments before this incident occurred, and it was a gorgeous day. Everything was fine. We came back to the hotel, which our hotel was the Marriott overlooking the race, the finish line. And my sister-in-law just jumped in the shower to kind of she just got done running the marathon, and I'm laying down putting on Sports Center, roughhousing with my little 3-year-old, and you hear a big boom, and I thought it was thunder at the time, and then you hear another one, and then my wife looked out the window, and holy cow, there's smoke and people running, and it was just complete chaos. And we grabbed the kids and the family, we all went down, and police escorted people to like the safe area. It was just complete pandemonium. When I was driving over this morning, from what I understand, they're getting close to capturing these inmates. So hopefully we'll have some updates when we get out here today. But yeah, I think that they're all in my heart. I know in mind a lot of people that were suffering from there. But I just wanted to let you know that I was there. I saw all of it, and it was horrific. But thank you so much. I know we're kind of running late on time. Appreciate you guys letting me come out here today, and I look forward to hearing from you students. All right.